go.
He's got it to the floorboard.
Come on, take her to the inside.
Don't let him get on the inside.
Now that guy knows how to call a race.
Here comes Earnhardt. It's the Dale and Dale show as they come off turn 4.
You know who I'm pulling for. Bring her to the inside, Dale. Don't let him get down there.
He's going to make it.
Dale Jarrett.
Dale Jarrett.
Dale Jarrett.
Dale Jarrett's going to win the Daytona 500.
All right. Oh, can you believe it? Way to go.
Oh,
Hey,
man. Oh, man. Oh, man.
From Daytona International Speedway, the world center of racing, welcome to this special live edition of Speed Week on the eve of the 36th running of the great American race, the Daytona 500. Good evening, everybody. I'm Bob Jenkins, and welcome to the world center of racing, where tomorrow the big race will be held. We're going to have some fun here in the next half hour, and helping me is a guy who 19 years ago tonight was on the brink of stardom. And now look where he is. Benny Parsons, who won the race back in 1975. Now, a lot of water has gone under the bridge since then, but do you remember what you were thinking about 19 years ago tonight?
I have no idea. I was probably thinking, well, Richard Petty's going to be so hard to beat, and David Pearson, and how am I going to beat these guys? Maybe they'll fall out. Guess what? They did.
They did. Well, this program continues a tradition we established a few years ago by allowing you to call in and talk with a couple of drivers who will be competing tomorrow and going for that big win. Joining us for at least the first couple of segments is the pole sitter for tomorrow's Daytona 500, the driver of the Hooters Ford, Loy Allen Jr., and the guy who will be starting in 10th position tomorrow, the driver of the Quaker State Ford, Brett Bodine.
Good to see you guys.
Thank you, and welcome to our little show here. Well, before we go to the phones, we want to bring you up to date on what's happened here during the past week, culminating with the running of the Twin 125 qualifying races. Now, those races, of course, established the starting order for the 500, with the exception of the front row, which is, of course, locked in during qualifying. Rain, a nearly full house watched as pole sitter Loy Allen got the jump on the rest of the field at the drop of the green flag in the first of the two qualifiers. But by the end of the first lap, it was Ernie Irvin who had the lead in the Texaco Haviland Ford. Allen was quickly back to 12th position, and fellow Hoosier driver Jeff Bodine also had difficulty keeping up with the pack. The first caution of the race occurred when Richie Petty took a long slide off of corner number 4, but he didn't hit anything. The replay shows there was contact between Petty and Bobby Labonte. There will only be one Petty in tomorrow's race. Just past halfway, Mark Martin took the lead as Irvin fell back to 4th at the end of the lead draft. Rusty Wallace also led for a while, moving his Miller Genuine Draft Ford up from his 11th starting position. Irvin got the lead back for good 9 laps from the end, just before the second caution flew when Billy Standridge spun on the backstretch right in front of the lead draft. All managed to avoid hitting him, but it set up the final dash to the checkered. It was won by Irvin, his first 125 victory. Wallace was second, Martin third, Labonte fourth, and Todd Bodine fifth.
It gets the whole team knowing that all the homework they did, the late hours they worked, makes it worthwhile. And winning the 125 is a portion of winning the 500, and makes us real happy and makes us where we can go into that race knowing we're confident.
The second 125 got off to a rough start as defending 500 champion Dale Jarrett had trouble getting up to speed and set off a chain reaction that involved at least 5 cars. Watch again in replay as Derek Cope, who was behind Jarrett, bumped Joe Nemechek. Jeremy Mayfield hit the brakes and collected Buddy Baker, Rich Bickle, and Bobby Hillen. Ward Burton, far left, nearly made it through but couldn't avoid Mayfield. There were no injuries, but a lot of hopes of making the 500 were gone. There was some great racing among 4 drivers, Dale Earnhardt, Sterling Marlin, Jeff Gordon, and Morgan Shepherd, with the lead changing heads several times during the 50 laps. Chuck Bound caused the second caution of the race, experiencing a fate similar to that of Richie Petty in the first race. Bound, like Petty, didn't hit anything, It's nice to see those roof flaps keeping the cars on the ground. Most of the front runners came in for a pit stop during this caution, setting up a final sprint to the finish. Those who pitted for fresh tires quickly moved through the slower traffic, but it came down to a battle between Marlin and Earnhardt, which Dale won. He added to his amazing win record at Daytona, but still lacks the big one.
You know, we got to try to get enough stuff mustered up here and try to win that 500 Sunday for Neil, for the memory of Neil, but for this team that's worked so hard for it, never won it.
Defending champion Jarrett goes from front row starting spot in '93 to the last row and a provisional starting position this year.
Last year don't make any difference. I'm concerned about this year that we've struggled the whole time, and we really needed to run the qualifying race to see if we'd made some improvements on our car. And now we'll be back to guessing, so it's going to be 500 miles worth of practice now.
Well, that's how the twin 125s went. Now let's talk to our guests about how their respective races progressed. Loy, you didn't even complete your qualifying race. What happened?
We just had some handling problems all through the race, and took the time in the race after we got out of the lead draft to come in and try to work on the handling problems for Sunday's race. And we did that a couple of times, and we were going to just work on it until the leaders started coming back around, and we thought it'd be just better to come in with those problems.
Brett, you had a great run. Finished fifth?
Benny, the car ran great. You know, we're a contender. We're fast. If we can just keep the car handling. We had a little bit of handling trouble. Like the other guys in the race, we got awfully loose, and we worked this afternoon in the last practice trying to get it tightened up. I think we got something for them tomorrow.
Well, in just a moment, we're going to open up the phone lines and allow you to call in and talk with either Loy or Brett. The number to call is 900-254-5111. Get your dialing fingers ready, 904-254-5111. But before that, we want to take some time out here to extend our sympathies to the family of Rodney Orr, who was killed earlier this week here at Daytona. He was the defending champion of the Goodies Dash Series, killed while practicing trying to make the Daytona 500 lineup. He is survived by his wife, Crystal, his daughter, Ashton. Rodney Orr was 33 years of age. Welcome back to this live edition of Speed Week from Daytona International Speedway. We are taking your calls at area code 904-254-5111. We have Benny Parsons here and Loy Allen and Brett Bodine. Benny, quickly, this tire situation, no Hoosiers in tomorrow's race.
There will be no Hoosiers in the Daytona 500. Bob Newton kind of gave you guys permission to put the Goodyears on, right, Loy?
That's right. With his permission, and especially with me being a rookie and talking to a lot of the drivers, it was going to be hard to get drafting help. So that was a big decision for us, and with his blessing, we went with Goodyears, and we'll be back with Hoosiers on Tuesday at Richmond.
And so did every other driver.
That's right. Now we're going to go to the phones, and the first up is a gentleman named Kenny calling from Chandler, Arizona. Is this Kenny Bernstein?
It may be, Bob.
Hey, how you doing?
How you guys doing?
Well, you got your driver on the hot seat, so go after him.
Well, Brett, you're doing good, my friend.
Yeah, we're doing all right, KB.
That's good. No, I'm real proud of Brett and the whole team, Donnie and Richard, and the guys worked so hard. They really had a good Speed Weeks down there, Bob, as you know, and I know they're excited about tomorrow. Of course, we're out here in Arizona. We get to race a little bit tomorrow, but right now I think they're running a little better than we are.
How'd you do today?
We're 15th qualifier right now. We just kind of struggled down through there today, but we get a little easy one in the first round tomorrow. Little Joe Amato, he only ran 475 today.
Is that all?
Jeez. So what do you want to tell your driver about tomorrow?
Oh, Brett's ready to go. I know he feels real good about things, and hopefully we can just stay out of trouble and he can keep his nose clean, and the car will just run all day because it's really been under him, and he's done a great job driving the race car all week long down there. He's been very good, very comfortable, and I know the guys are real excited, but he'll be good. And I want to congratulate Loy Allen there for winning that pole. That's quite a feat for a youngster and a rookie, believe me.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Kenny, have a good run during the rest of the weekend, and I'm sure Brett will do the same for you.
Well, I hope so. Maybe we can have one of those doubles tomorrow, and if we do, we'll have us a big Budweiser, that's for sure.
That's for sure, pal. Go get them.
Bye-bye.
All right, thanks, Kenny. Next caller is Abby calling from New Smyrna Beach, Florida, just south of here. Go ahead, Abby.
Yeah, hi, Loy.
Hi.
I was wondering, has Dale Earnhardt given you any tips on how to handle the pole position and what to expect at the start of the race?
I talked to Dale a lot last year, and he helped me a lot out at Texas World Speedway and several other speedways. I haven't had a chance to talk to him this week, but I know especially I'll get a lot of lessons tomorrow.
Actions speak louder than words, right, Lloyd?
I can't think of anyone better to go to school with.
Next caller is Brian from North Carolina. You're on SpeedWeek Live. Go ahead.
Yeah, my question is really to both drivers. I was kind of curious. I know about all the tire problems that's been going on, but would not the spring setups in the rear that's helping the cars go down through the air, would that not have anything to do with the cars spinning and wrecking? And one more thing, go Dale Earnhardt tomorrow.
Well, Brian, there's no question that for qualifying, we ran some pretty strange spring arrangements, trying to keep the car low, like you said, down close to the ground so it gained greater speed down the straightaways. But, as we went on, we changed those spring rates to try to get ourselves comfortable in the draft. So you're really talking about apples and oranges as far as a qualifying setup and a race setup. The Hoosiers didn't have any trouble in qualifying. It was in their race setup is where they ran into problems.
Lloyd, how about you? You're in the soft springs?
We did during qualifying, but also we went back stiff and, even stiffer today. And it's really helped out a lot in drafting, and it's made the car a lot stabler for me.
All right, back to the phones, and Derek from Pennsylvania is up next. Go ahead with your call.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi. What's your question?
How are you going to win the race?
I have a feeling we're having somebody that's being prompted here by Dad or Mom. Well, okay, we can predict who's going to win the race. Lloyd, who's going to win the race? You are, right?
Yeah. If you're racing, you always get in the race car to win.
That's right.
But I think that'd be a pretty big task. We're just going to try to stay in the lead draft and just see how everything comes out at the end of the day.
Who's your toughest competitor, Brett?
Well, right now it looks like Dale is. His car's awfully strong, but I'll tell you, there's a couple sleepers in there, and one of them's driving a 75 car.
Yeah.
Little brother Todd's running awful well.
He sure had a good qualifying race. All right, we're going to take another break and be back with more of your telephone calls at area code 904-254-5111 on SpeedWeek live from Daytona. Friday's Goodies Dash race at Daytona continued a series of strange events we've seen here this month. Just prior to halfway, Robert Huffman hit Dave Stacy coming off turn 2. David Hutto and George Crenshaw were also involved. The recent heavy rains made the grass a skating rink, and Stacy's car slid all the way to the dirt embankment, flipped over it, and amazingly landed on its wheels in Lake Lloyd. Rescue workers waited for the 29-year-old Enon, Ohio driver to clear the cobwebs before he got out. He was taken to the infield care center and released, and then talked with our Kenny Martin.
I've seen a lot of cars get in that dirt bank. When you hit that, it doesn't bounce you off of it like a guardrail does. And then, next thing I seen was roof, sky, ground, roof, sky, ground. So we're having fun now.
That is not unprecedented. That was the third driver that had gone into Lake Lloyd, but it had not been done for 30 years. I think Bay Darnell was the last to do that.
1964. Yeah. Tom Pistone used to wear a life vest when he drove. He was so worried about getting in there.
I tell you what, you can see that crash again during our coverage of the Busch Grand National Race at Goodies 300, which immediately follows this show. You might want to get your video tape recorders running. Area code 904-254-5111 is the number to call. We have Brett Bodine and Loy Allen only for this segment. Loy's going to have to leave after this segment. We go to the phones and talk to Bob from Rochester, Minnesota. Go ahead.
Hello, Brett. This is Bob. I'd like to thank you, first of all, for signing that autograph for us in Michigan, that picture we drew.
Well, you're welcome.
But I want to know what you're going to do tomorrow. Are you going to hang back, or are you going to try to go to the front right away?
No, we'd like to run up front. This is our first shot at really having a competitive ride at Daytona, and we want to take full advantage of it. I think if we can stay up front, we're gonna try to run there all day. If the car's handles go away, then we'll just take what we can get and try to work on it on the pit stops.
Are we seeing a new Brett Bodine this year?
Well, I don't know if it's a new one. I think you're seeing a new Quaker State race team, and that's really the reason why we're running so much better.
You have made some changes over the winter.
Yeah, we have. We've had some personnel changes, and I think obviously it's shown here at Daytona it's been for the better.
All right, a call now for Loy Allen from Joel in California. Go ahead.
Well, good evening, gentlemen. How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
Well, I'd like to offer my deep condolences to the Orr and the Bonnet family.
Thank you.
Indeed.
And I'd like to ask Loy Allen what's he plan to do to make up for his inexperience tomorrow.
There's really nothing you can do to make up for inexperience except just get as many laps as I can get. Like I say, just try to stay on the lead draft. Try not to get picked off, and try to get the car to work all day long. I can learn something 500 miles in a race.
All right, and another call from California. Willie, you're on Speed Week. Go ahead with your question.
Thank you. I have two of them. Which seems to have the better advantage, the Fords or the Chevrolets?
Okay, what's your second question?
And my second one is, what's in the rules that allow Chevrolets to run V8s when you can't find an aluminum V8 in the dealer room?
Okay, Brett, both you guys drive Fords. Brett?
Well, I think the Fords are better. I think Loy will agree with me on
definitely.
that. I'm real happy with mine this year. I've run General Motors products in the past, and I just seem to be more competitive here at Daytona with our Fords than we have ever been in the past.
As far as the V6 on aluminum, NASCAR allows the put aluminum bodies on 2 roll cages and use V8 engines. That's the NASCAR rule, so no one's been in the rules that way.
All right, John from Plymouth, Indiana. What's your question?
Yeah, I'd like to congratulate Loy Allen Jr. on winning the pole.
Thank you.
And I'd like to ask, are you going to charge right to the front then tomorrow, or are you going to hold back and kind of let the guys with experience run a little bit first?
We're going to try to, race hard. If we don't race hard, you can find yourself getting in trouble. So we're just going to see if we can stay in the lead draft and, just try to race hard all day.
All right, we will come back in just a few minutes with more of your telephone calls. Loy Allen Jr. is going to have to leave us because of other obligations he has, but certainly thank you for joining us, and needless to say, we'll wish you the best of luck tomorrow.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Good luck, Loy.
All right. Brett will stay with us, and we would like to tell you that coming up right after our live edition of Speed Week here, we will cover today's Goodies 300 Busch Grand National race, where Kyle Petty, yes, Kyle Petty, made his debut as a pit reporter on this event. He's going to be with us for all of our support races this year. Now, we're going to ask you to turn your head from the television set if you do not want to see who won today's race. There are the results of the Goodies 300, and again, we'll have same-day delayed coverage right after our live edition of Speed Week in about 10 minutes from right now.
SpeedWeek's travel arranged through Continental. One airline can make a difference. Business first. The comfort and service of international first class at a business class fare. That's the difference on Continental.
Welcome back to Speed Week Live from Daytona International Speedway, where tomorrow the 36th annual Daytona 500 will be contested. We are taking your phone calls at 904-254-5111. Loy Allen had to leave, and so we have Brett Bodine with us for the rest of the show. And Jamie from Kalamazoo, Michigan, you're up next on Speed Week.
How you doing?
Good.
Hi, Brett.
How you doing?
Good. How'd you in practice today?
Well, the car ran real well. We're pretty pleased with it. The car was a little bit loose Thursday in the qualifying race, and we had some rain showers on Friday. Didn't get a chance to practice, but we got a little short practice this morning, and this afternoon we made some spring adjustments, sway bars, panhard bars, those kind of things, and I think we've got it tightened up just enough to keep the speed in the car, but comfort in traffic is going to be the key tomorrow.
Brett, they always say that the final practice session is so important, is it?
It really is. We call it happy hour. You know, we get that last hour of practice, and, the key there is to have a game plan. So you can go either way. If the car happens to be a little loose or a little tight, you have adjustments already laid out, ready to go in the car. And that's one thing that Donnie's really good at, my crew chief, Donnie Richardson. We get a real good game plan. We stick to it in that last practice session to try to get the most out of that last happy hour of the week.
From Baltimore, Maryland, Bob, what's your question for Brett?
Yes, I'd like to ask Brett if he thinks there's a possibility that the NASCAR rule change, which raised the front bumper farther off the pavement, may have played a part in the accidents which have happened this week.
Well, those rules weren't in effect here at Daytona. We were allowed to go back down to the old minimum height off the ground, and the cars are very stable. They really are, and I think we saw it in Thursday's qualifying races. There was awfully tight competition, close running, and it's going to make for a great Daytona 500 this year.
And calling from Hill Air Force Base in New Jersey is Jerry. Go ahead with your question.
Yes, a couple years ago we seen Bill Elliott really draft good with the Chevrolet car of Ernie Irvin. Do you think this year that the Fords draft better with the Chevrolets, or they draft better with the Fords themselves?
Well, really, I feel like the draft is much stronger for any make of car because of the fact that NASCAR has raised the total height of the car up a half an inch. We're running a little bit taller spoiler in the back. So really the hole that each and every car punches in the air is much bigger, so the pull in the draft is much stronger. My car has been able to pull back up to packs that have gotten 10 to 15 car lengths out ahead of me, which before in the past you would tend to drift back out of that line of traffic. So I think it's going to make for a closer competition. If a guy does happen to make a mistake in the draft, get out of line, they get away from him a little bit, he has the opportunity to get back up to him.
All right, Duke from Myrtle Beach, we have time for a very quick question. Please make it brief. Go ahead.
Yeah, Brett, it's been a long time since North Wilkesboro. I'd like to see you back there. But are you the first time three brothers have been in the Daytona 500?
I think that is a fact.
That is a fact.
This week, we're going to make history tomorrow that three brothers are going to start the Daytona 500, and believe me, the Bodine family's proud of it.
That's all the phone calls that we have time for, and we thank very much Loy and Brett for being with us. In our last segment, we're going to talk about tomorrow's race and maybe even make some predictions as to who we think might win the 36th annual Daytona 500. So we'll take a break and be back with more live Speed Week from Daytona International Speedway as 42 drivers are set to go for 200 laps tomorrow.
Our CarQuest racing calendar with events coming up. For all your auto parts needs, you'll find it at CarQuest.
This special live edition of Speed Week, live from Daytona, is brought to you by Haviland Formula 3 Motor Oil. Add more life to your car.
Well, as you can see, the partying is going on, and in some cases it'll last all night until the green flag drops tomorrow. Quickly, Brett, is this your best shot at winning this race ever?
No question about it. The team's pumped up. I'm ready to go. It's nice to be driving with two hands on the wheel here at the start of the season. I'm going to make a prediction. I'm going to pick a Bodine. How's that?
There you go. Benny, quickly, your favorite and dark horse.
Well, I'm not going to pick Earnhardt because he's never won it. Ernie Irvin as a favorite. This guy's a dark horse.
Now, that's exactly who I was going to say.
We'll pick somebody else.
Well, I'll tell you, some of the guys that I think have a real good shot at it are Dale Earnhardt. And I've been saying for 2 weeks that this guy over here is the dark horse, and I really mean that. And I think you have a real good shot at it. But your brother is running well,
yes,
and boy, there are lots of guys that could definitely win this thing.
His brother Todd.
Yeah.
The younger brother is the guy that's really running well.
That's right.
He's really got it hooked up. His team's come a long ways.
Well, some race fans have also been predicting who's going to win tomorrow. We've been down in the infield. Here's those predictions. We'll see you tomorrow at 5:30 with more Speed Week. For now, for Brett Bodine and Benny Parsons, I'm Bob Jenkins. So long from Daytona International Speedway.
Who's going to win this year?
Ernie Irvin.
Darrell Waltrip is the man.
I hope Rusty Wallace does, but probably Dale Earnhardt will.
Dale Earnhardt.
Rusty Wallace, number one. The Bill of Rights, Bill Elliott.
Dale Earnhardt. Ernie Irvin. Number one. Dale Earnhardt.
Rusty Wallace, Thunderbird.
Dale! 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 Dale Earnhardt! Dale! Read this shirt, Dale! Dale, look at this! Are you flying? Dale!